Here is what Trump actually said that they're making hay out of. SOT 13.
And my people told me about 4 weeks ago, I was saying, no, I want to protect the people. I want to protect the women of our country. I want to protect the women. Sir, please don't say that. Why? They said, we think it's very inappropriate for you to say. So why? I'm president. I want to protect the women of our country. They said. They said, sir, I just think it's inappropriate for you to say. I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them. I'm going to protect them from migrants coming in. I'm going to protect them from foreign countries that want to hit us with missiles.
Who in their right mind would object to that? In the original clip, he explains exactly what he meant. Yes. Please protect me and my family from missiles coming in from foreign countries that hate us. Yes, I would love that. Please protect our friends in Israel from attacks by the Hamas lunatics, something that didn't happen during your administration, only happened when we projected weakness through the Afghanistan withdrawal under the Biden administration. I would love that kind of protection. Yes, indeed. Please protect us by ramping down tensions with Russia, the way you did the first 4 years, which is a nuclear power which could annihilate us in about 10 minutes. Sure, it would be great to have better relationships with Russia and the Russians. Do that. Please protect us by closing the southern border and restoring the building of the wall, resuming it ASAP, so that 12-year-olds like Jocelyn don't get murdered in the middle of the night by Venezuelan gangs. Would love it. Please protect people like Lake and Riley, who are in nursing school down in Georgia, trying to learn a skill to actually save lives, who instead wind up dead at the hands of yet another illegal. Please protect us from the fentanyl being shoved across the border at record speed and into the veins of our young college men and women who experiment with a drug here or there. No, they shouldn't, but yes, they do. And instead of just getting extra high, which they think is the risk, they wind up dead. I'd love that kind of protection. Of course, what they're trying to spin it into is Trump wants America to be a Handmaid's Tale story. He wants us all in the red dresses and capes and wants to determine exactly what happens with your, quote, reproductive freedom, that women will die. Let me make something clear to you, okay? This is not a federal issue. The only reason abortion became a federal issue is because the United States Supreme Court made it one in Roe versus Wade by making up a constitutional right to it that did not exist. And while Trump overstates the revulsion in response to that decision, he's not wrong that liberal scholars and conservative ones alike for 50 years said that is not a principled decision. They made up a right that wasn't in there. It started with a privacy right that was found a few court decisions earlier that then got expanded just a little, then just a little more. And by the time they got to Roe versus Wade, they got the big Megillah. They had read something into the Constitution that did not exist, which was a right to an abortion. And women like me, who grew up not knowing anything other than Roe, may have come to believe it, that it was an actual right in there, just like due process and free speech and the Second Amendment rights we have. Well, it wasn't. And if you did any sort of homework, never mind went to law school or practiced law, you learned that pretty early in your life. The Supreme Court handed this issue back to the states where it belongs. And now we have a state-by-state experiment on abortion. It's true. Just like we have a state-by-state experiment on many, many issues. And the states represent their own particular cultures, which is why most people who live in Oregon or Washington State want nothing to do with moving to Mississippi and vice versa. And that's fine. That's America. That is the way the country was envisioned. And so, yeah, you are seeing abortion bans in some deep red states. And they may be too much for some people who happen to be pro-choice but found themselves living there anymore. And they've got the power of their feet in order to leave those states. Is it going to be easy for everybody? No, it's not. But for even those states, you are allowed to order the abortion drug. And you are allowed to go to other states. And the left says, oh, they're trying to ban you. Travel ban, so you can't leave a deep red state to go. Well, guess what? That's totally unconstitutional. Banning anybody from leaving one state and going to another is patently unconstitutional. Any such attempt to do so will be struck down 9-0 by the U.S. Supreme Court, including Thomas, including Alito, will be completely struck down. That is patently absurd and cannot be done. So just stop. I want you to know, women who are thinking about voting for Kamala based on abortion rights, she cannot pass an abortion law that covers all 50 states. She neither has the power nor the votes to do that. You've already lost that fight. I'm sorry. I know you're upset over it. I'm sorry to tell you, you already lost. You lost when the Dobbs decision came down. And no Supreme Court is going to overrule Dobbs. They may overrule a precedent of 50 years ago. They're not going to overrule one that was handed down 2 years ago. It's the same court, among other reasons. You're not going to win there. What you need to do is accept the half a loaf you've been given. And pro-lifers, my advice applies to you too. Accept the half a loaf you've been given. It's not a federal law. It's not a federal issue. It's not a constitutional issue. It's a states' rights issue. Get out of the states that have the bans if this is very important to you. Or get out of the states that allow abortion through all 9 months if you can't tolerate living in a state where that's happening down the block from you. Otherwise, be glad that we are back to the 50-state experiment that the founders envisioned, and that abortion will never be unlawful in all 50 states of the United States of America, ever. Nor will it have the permission slip it did under the Roe regime. That was yesterday. I'm telling you how things are today. And no vote in a presidential election will change any of that. If this is your issue, vote in your state elections. Who you elect as governor really matters. Who you elect as your state congressman or assemblyman and state senator really matters. What constitutional ballot initiative may be on your ballot box voting card this season really matters. That's what they did in Michigan. That's why they put Whitmer in there. That's why Whitmer one was so popular in doing it. That's why overwhelmingly we saw people rush to the polls in 2022 because they were pissed off in the wake of Dobbs. And women had their say at the state levels and said, screw you, we don't like this, in the states where they felt that way. And there was a resettling. That issue is no longer at the federal level. So Mika Brzezinski, calm the F down. Listen to this lunatic. Listen to her.
Or do you want to vote for the woman who wants to try and figure out how to deal with these strict abortion bans, healthcare bans that have been put in place by Donald Trump? This is the moment for women. This is the final hour for women. Talking to Stevie Nicks this week, I'll quote her: be the lighthouse, women of America, be the beacon of warning, and talk to young people and get them out to the polls on this issue, because women, this is your future, and we are living it now. The stories are real right now. Yeah. Trump's America for women is happening now, and it's a nightmare.
I can't. I mean, in her defense, she's very dumb. There is zero chance she understands one word of what I just said. I'm pretty sure of that. So, you have to be somewhat understanding. She should not be in a position of prominence where she spreads her misinformation. We're against misinformation, remember? They should really remove her from that post ASAP. Okay, so that's the protect women nonsense. I want to talk about what they're now trying to do to Charlie Kirk. Liz Cheney, this pathetic fool. My God, she's gone nuts. TDS can really make you nuts. It can make the eyes go googly. It can make you really, truly deranged. So she and other leftists are very upset about Charlie Kirk on this program just 2 days ago, right? Was it 2 days ago Charlie was on? I'm losing all memory. Wednesday. Okay, let me show you the clip that is sending the left nuts from a program you guys watched 48 hours ago, SOT 19.
And she needs people to basically lie to their husbands, which they are promoting, by the way, which I find that entire advertising campaign
that ad.
So repulsive. It is so disastrous. It is just like
I'll show it in a minute.
It is the embodiment of the downfall of the American family. I think it's so gross. I think it's so just nauseating, where this wife is wearing you'll show it, wearing the American hat. She's coming in with her sweet husband, who probably works his tail off to make sure that she can go, and have a nice life and provides for the family. And then she lies to him saying, oh yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump. And then she votes for Kamala Harris as her little secret in the voting booth. Kamala Harris and her team believe that there will be millions of women that undermine their husbands and do so in a way that it's not detectable in the polling.
Absolutely nothing wrong with what he said. Absolutely nothing wrong. The Liz Cheneys of the world are trying to make this into some sort of, this is Charlie and a sexist, I don't know. This is what she tweeted out. Listen to this twit. By the way, Charlie Kirk is brilliant, Liz Cheney, and doesn't use his powers for evil like you. Make Donald Trump's closing argument. Women, you know what to do. Hashtag vote Kamala. Like he's just some Neanderthal who doesn't understand that women are equals and have equal rights. Why? Because he said that the man has likely provided for his family, and he's objecting to the man being lied to more specifically, Kamala Harris encouraging women to lie to their husbands if their husbands have suggested they vote Trump, which is to suggest dishonesty in a marital relationship, and it is fucked up. 16% of American wives are the primary wage earners in their relationships. 16. Okay, Liz, I happen to be one of them. I took zero offense to what Charlie Kirk said. I understood perfectly well what he meant. A husband, in many cases, is providing for the family, is, in most cases, the primary wage earner. And he is speaking to the dynamic between a man and a woman in a loving relationship, which does not include lying when you run into a difficult issue, especially over something like politics. It requires one person to say, honey, I need to vote for Trump, or I need to vote for Kamala, and I don't really care whether you like it or you don't. In Liz Cheney's world, in Kamala Harris's world, these women are too disempowered to stand up for themselves and be honest with their husbands. You get it? That's what's diminishing to women. It's Kamala Harris's sexism driving that message, Liz. No one else's. Charlie is calling her out on the disgusting connotation of what a modern day American marriage should look like. A disempowered, cowering woman who goes into the voting booth and lies to her husband because she can't trust him or his reaction if she just spills it to him that they have a disagreement. Screw you and your entire vision for this country. You don't know anything about healthy relationships or what female empowerment actually looks like. This year, supply chain issues have been more prevalent than ever. Whether it's the result of natural disasters like Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton, global conflict, or inflation, the impacts are being felt everywhere. While they sometimes are a minor inconvenience, delays in accessing essential medications can become catastrophic. The U.S. relies on overseas sources for more than 80% of its generic medications. So what happens when there are delays? Or what if supplies are cut off? How will you care for your loved ones and yourself? The Jace case offers peace of mind for you and your family in the face of delays, shortages, and disasters. This is an emergency medication kit containing 5 life-saving antibiotics that treat the most common and deadly bacterial infections. Simply complete a quick online evaluation to ensure you're prepared. The Jace case can also be customized with add-ons like ivermectin, EpiPens, and more. Don't wait. Consider preparing right now. Receive a discount on your Jace case by visiting jase.com and entering promo code MK at checkout. That's promo code MK at jase.com, ensuring you have the right medications exactly when you need them. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.